problem is simple: men pretend to respect you while secretly weaving your downfall. This is the oldest art of betrayal, one that kings, generals, and even friends have faced. The question is not if this will happen to you, but when. And when it does, will you be blind to it, or prepared to turn their treachery into your triumph? I am Niccolò Machiavelli, and today I reveal a truth sharper than any sword. You believe yourself honored, respected, praised. Yet behind the smiles lie daggers. Too many fall because they mistake courtesy for loyalty. But I shall show you how to see through the mask, so you may never be caught unprepared. I am Niccolò Machiavelli, and I tell you this: men are rarely as they appear. The respect you see, the smiles you receive, the praises spoken to your face, these are not always born of loyalty or admiration. No, they are often masks, carefully crafted to hide envy, ambition, and malice. Respect in the mouth of a rival can be nothing more than a dagger wrapped in silk. And the tragedy, my friends, is that most rulers, leaders, and even ordinary men fall not because their enemies declared war openly, but because they trusted too deeply in the illusion of honor shown to them. Consider the man who bows lower than all others. His words drip with compliments. He hails you as wise, strong, irreplaceable. You may think him your ally, yet you must ask, why does he overdo it? For sincerity requires no performance. True respect is calm, steady, shown in action rather than exaggeration. The one who shouts his loyalty from the rooftops is often the one preparing to climb those rooftops and push you off. False respect thrives because men know that open opposition is dangerous. To attack you directly would expose them, invite your wrath, and risk their own ruin, so they hide. They wear the mask of courtesy until the moment is ripe. A prince who believes himself beloved because he is constantly praised has already been deceived. For men fear punishment and crave reward. They will flatter you to avoid punishment, and they will bow to you, so that tomorrow they might take your place. Do not mistake this for pessimism. It is not that every smile conceals betrayal. It is that betrayal almost always begins with a smile. History is filled with rulers who were lulled into a false sense of security by displays of reverence. They sat upon their thrones convinced of their strength, unaware that their courtiers whispered in corners, plotting their fall. Respect was the disguise of rebellion, and it worked precisely because the ruler chose to believe it. The nature of false respect is that it feels sweeter than truth. It feeds your pride, it comforts your ego, it blinds your reason. You hear a man say, "You are the wisest leader we have ever known." And you prefer this lie over the uncomfortable truth spoken by another who dares to criticize you. The liar gains your trust, while the honest man earns your suspicion. This, more than anything, is why false respect is so deadly, because it is welcomed by the one who is deceived. Understand also that false respect is a currency. Men pay it to gain your favor, to position themselves for advantage, to appear loyal while they prepare their rebellion. It costs them nothing to flatter you, yet it may purchase for them opportunity, influence, or even your blind trust. And once they have secured that trust, they may strike with greater precision than any open enemy could. You must therefore train yourself to hear flattery as you would hear the hiss of a serpent. Ask yourself always, why does this man praise me now? What does he gain by lifting my image so high? Does he seek to benefit from my pride, to turn my confidence into negligence? Remember, men act not from love of you, but from love of themselves. They do not respect you for your sake, but because it serves their ambition. Let me be clear, false respect is not merely an act of speech. It can be woven into deeds as well. A rival may perform acts of loyalty, yet these acts may serve only to increase your reliance upon him. He carries out your orders flawlessly not because he honors you, but because he is rehearsing the role of command. The day he believes he can act without you, he will do so, and your own trust will have prepared his way. Think, then, on this paradox. Those who appear the most respectful are often the ones you should examine most carefully. Their eagerness to display devotion should not comfort you, but warn you. A man who truly respects you does not need to prove it every hour. His actions over time will speak for him. The man who insists constantly on reminding you of his respect is already performing. And all performances end with a revelation. Respect is the sweetest poison when it is false. It intoxicates, it dulls the senses, it blinds the eyes to danger. And yet, it is everywhere in courts, in councils, in friendships, even in families. To navigate power, one must understand that the respect shown by men cannot be accepted at face value. It must be weighed, tested, compared against their deeds, and measured by the consistency of their behavior. Only then can you separate the true from the false, the loyal from the envious, the ally from the traitor. I am Niccolò Machiavelli, and I say to you this: betrayal does not arrive with a trumpet's blast, nor does it announce itself as your enemy. No, it comes quietly, concealed beneath courtesy, hidden behind a bow, disguised in the smoothness of words. Daggers are rarely shown openly. They are carried beneath the cloak of respect, waiting for the moment when your guard is lowered, when your eyes are fixed on their smiles instead of their hands. The hidden dagger reveals itself through subtle signs, signs most men are too blind or too proud to see. Look closely, for betrayal always leaves a shadow, however faint. Consider the one who praises you excessively. He never disagrees, never challenges, never offers a thought that is his own. To the simple mind, such a man appears loyal, but to the wise, he is suspicious. Why does he refuse to question you? Is it because he believes you perfect, or because he wishes you blind? Excessive agreement is the silence of the snake before it strikes. Another sign is hesitation in action. A man who swears devotion with words, but falters when deeds are required, is sharpening his dagger. Watch closely when your allies are tested. Do they move quickly to defend you, or do they pause, weighing their own safety against your cause? Hesitation is betrayal in its earliest form, for loyalty demands sacrifice, not calculation. The man who calculates today may abandon you tomorrow when the risks grow heavier. There are those, too, who flatter you in your presence, but grow quiet in your absence. If their tongues praise you when you stand before them, but their lips fall still when others speak ill of you, then their respect is hollow. True loyalty defends, even when you are not there to hear it. Silence in the face of slander is complicity, and complicity is nothing but the dagger held behind the back. Observe also the man who constantly seeks your approval, yet secretly builds networks beyond your sight. He comes to you smiling, eager for your command, yet he whispers in private with those who would prefer your fall. He is the spider weaving a web, and you, if blind, will stumble into it. Ambition does not shout, it whispers, and its whispers are always cloaked in courtesy. The hidden dagger lies also in the timing of words. Have you noticed how some men deliver flattery when you are weakest, or when you doubt yourself? They choose their moments carefully, using respect as medicine to earn your gratitude. But gratitude can become dependence, and dependence gives them the power they seek. In that moment, they are not strengthening you, they are disarming you. By making you reliant upon their comfort, they dull your suspicion, and when suspicion sleeps, betrayal awakens. False respect can even be disguised as advice. Beware of the man who counsels you to act with restraint, not because restraint is wise, but because restraint serves his ambition. He cloaks his motives in the language of loyalty, yet his guidance directs you into weakness. This, too, is a dagger, though it does not pierce flesh. It pierces judgment, leading you into choices that prepare your own undoing. And notice the man who positions himself as indispensable. He appears to serve you faithfully, to carry out your will with perfection, until the day arrives when you realize you cannot act without him. This is no servant, but a rival. He has placed himself in your shadow, only so he may one day step into your light. His dagger is not in his hand. It is in the power you gave him. Even among friends, the hidden dagger can be found. A friend who envies your success will not strike you directly. Instead, he will cloak envy in laughter, disguise rivalry as jest, and cover discontent with forced cheer. But envy is patient. It waits for the moment when fortune turns against you, and then the friend reveals himself as foe. What appeared as camaraderie was merely a mask, and beneath it was a blade, sharpened by resentment. The truth is this: the hidden dagger is always close, closer than your declared enemies, for your enemies must reveal themselves to fight you. It is the ally, the servant, the friend, the confidant, who has the easier path to betrayal. They need no armies, no battles, no proclamations. They need only your trust, and with that, they already hold the weapon that can destroy you. I am Niccolò Machiavelli, and I remind you of this eternal truth: power belongs not to the one who is most loved, but to the one who is most prepared. Betrayal will come, flattery will surround you, and daggers will be hidden in every sleeve. But the wise ruler, the cunning leader, does not tremble at this knowledge. Instead, he prepares. He responds not with fear, but with strategy. For those who master anticipation will never be caught unguarded. The first response is to measure men not by their words, but by their deeds. Words are cheap. Loyalty spoken is worth nothing until it is proven in action. Anyone can bend the knee. Anyone can whisper devotion. Anyone can proclaim loyalty when the sun is shining and your fortunes are strong. But when the storm arrives, when sacrifices are demanded, when following you places them at risk, that is when the mask falls. And so, test them. Place them in moments of difficulty. Demand of them something costly. And then watch closely. Only through such trials do you discover the difference between true respect and false respect. The cunning leader never allows one man to gather too much power, no matter how loyal he appears. For absolute reliance is the beginning of ruin. If one advisor controls your counsel, if one general commands all your forces, if one friend holds your secrets alone, then you have already placed the dagger in his hand. Divide responsibilities, scatter influence, make it so that no single man can rise without your permission. A ruler who ensures that his allies need him more than he needs them will never fear betrayal, for even their ambitions cannot flourish without his presence. Remember also the use of fear and love. Men desire to be loved, but they fear punishment more than they cherish affection. The one who is merely loved may be abandoned when fortunes change, but the one who is feared will find loyalty enforced by necessity. Do not be cruel without purpose, but let it be known that betrayal carries a price, so high that none dare to pay it. When men know that your hand can strike as swiftly as it rewards, their hidden daggers remain sheathed, for fear disarms treachery more effectively than affection ever could. Another response is to practice vigilance without obsession. The paranoid ruler destroys himself by mistrusting all, but the careless ruler is destroyed by trusting all. You must stand between these two extremes. Never be blinded by appearances, yet never allow suspicion to consume you so completely that you lose the ability to govern. Balance is the true art of power. Trust what can be verified, doubt what is too easily given, and act upon patterns, not isolated gestures. The man who flatters once may be foolish. The man who flatters always is plotting. You must also master the art of deception yourself. Those who seek to deceive you with false respect must find in you a greater deceiver. Let them believe they have won your trust, while you observe silently, gathering knowledge of their ambitions. Encourage their flattery, for it reveals their intentions. Pretend to accept their loyalty, while secretly binding them in obligations they cannot escape. In this way, their own deceit becomes your weapon, and their dagger, meant for your back, becomes a blade you turn against them at the moment of your choosing. A wise response to treachery is to keep your circle divided. Allow no bond to grow so strong among your allies that they forget their loyalty to you. The moment two of your servants are closer to each other than they are to you, the seeds of conspiracy are planted. You must remain the center, the axis around which all others revolve. By keeping them dependent on your favor, you ensure that they compete for your approval, rather than unite against you. Division, though it may seem harsh, is the armor of rulers who wish to endure. And what of gratitude? Many believe that by showing kindness, by rewarding respect, they will secure loyalty. But gratitude fades quickly, while ambition never sleeps. Do not rely on the memory of favors, for men forget them as soon as they see opportunity. Instead, rely on the fear of consequence and the calculation of interest. Men remain loyal when it is in their best interest to do so. Therefore, make loyalty profitable and betrayal costly. Arrange the game so that they cannot rise without you, and they cannot survive against you. In every court, in every council, there will be those who pretend devotion while scheming your ruin. But the Machiavellian response is not to despair at this truth. It is to embrace it, to accept that men will betray if they are not restrained, to prepare not for a world of honesty, but for a world of masks. And in such a world, the one who survives is not the one who trusts, but the one who sees beyond trust, who watches quietly, who rewards with care, who punishes without hesitation, and who never forgets that behind the curtain of respect, there is always a dagger. I am Niccolò Machiavelli, and I tell you this power is not maintained by illusions, but by vigilance. Men will bow, they will smile, they will dress their envy in the robes of loyalty, and if you are careless, you will believe them. But power belongs not to the one who is most admired, nor to the one most praised, but to the one who can see beyond appearances and prepare for the nature of men as it truly is. The lesson of power is to understand that betrayal is not an exception, it is the rule. Those who endure are not the ones who deny this truth, but those who live by it. Consider what respect truly means. When men honor you, is it because they see greatness in you, or because it is useful for them to appear respectful? Men do not act out of pure loyalty. They act out of need, fear, or gain. And when those needs change, when fear weakens, when gain can be found elsewhere, the same man who bowed before you will stand against you. Power, therefore, cannot rest on respect alone. It must rest on foresight, on control, on the ability to see what men want even before they know it themselves. The wise leader must always assume that respect shown today can transform into rebellion tomorrow. Do not be blinded by praise, for it is the weapon of those who cannot yet strike with the sword. Remember, men admire the strong while they are strong, but the moment weakness appears, admiration evaporates. They are like the tide, loyal when it benefits them, treacherous when it serves them better. The lesson is simple. Never build your throne upon their affection, but upon the unshakable foundation of your own strength. There is danger in believing too much in appearances. A court filled with smiling faces may look like loyalty, but it is often nothing more than fear in disguise. And fear is only useful as long as you remain capable of inspiring it. Once fear fades, masks fall. To survive, you must cultivate not only fear, but also necessity. Men must feel that they cannot prosper without you, that their lives, their fortunes, their ambitions are tied directly to your favor. When men believe their survival depends upon you, then their respect becomes real, for it is bound not by sentiment, but by survival. You must also remember that betrayal does not destroy only the careless. It destroys those who crave to be loved. The ruler who seeks love above all else makes himself weak, for he begins to value appearances more than reality. He listens to sweet words, ignores harsh truths, and clings to the loyalty of those who have mastered the art of pretending. Such a ruler is already finished, for he has traded foresight for comfort, strength for illusions. Love without fear is fragile, but fear without love is enduring. And in the game of power, endurance is the only true victory. Another lesson is that respect, when genuine, does not require constant display. True allies do not shower you with endless compliments, nor do they seek to remind you at every moment of their loyalty. Their deeds, their constancy, their willingness to share in both fortune and hardship, these are the signs of genuine respect. But such allies are rare, and you must value them when you find them. Yet even then, you must never place your fate entirely in their hands, for even the most loyal man is still a man, and men are ruled by ambition. Power teaches you that vigilance must never sleep. To believe you are safe because you are respected is to stand unarmed in a field of daggers. To believe you are secure because men smile is to mistake the mask for the face. A ruler must always look behind the gesture, beyond the word, past the smile. He must ask, what does this man desire? What does he fear? What does he stand to gain by my ruin? In answering these questions, he protects himself from the treachery that destroys the careless. And yet, there is also this: betrayal is not always your enemy. Sometimes it is your teacher. The one who pretends respect while plotting your fall reveals to you the weaknesses in your own defenses. Every conspiracy is a lesson, every attempt at deception a signal that you have grown too comfortable. Power grows stronger when it learns from these attempts, for each betrayal survived sharpens your vigilance, hardens your rule, and reminds you that men are constant only in their self-interest. The lesson of power, therefore, is not to despair at the falseness of men, but to master it. To accept that men will betray when given the chance, and to rule in such a way that their betrayal either fails or serves your purpose. Respect is a mask, but you must learn to read the face beneath. Loyalty is fragile, but you must know how to bind it with fear, with need, with advantage. Power does not belong to those who trust blindly, but to those who expect nothing from men except that they will always serve themselves first. I am Niccolò Machiavelli, and I leave you with this final truth: men will smile as they sharpen their daggers. They will flatter while they conspire. They will pretend respect while longing for your fall. To survive, you must see through the mask, anticipate treachery, and master the art of control. Trust deeds, not words. Divide power so none may rise above you. Let fear and necessity bind men closer than love ever could. For the ruler who understands the nature of false respect, who recognizes the hidden dagger, who responds with strategy, and who learns the true lesson of power, cannot be deceived. He becomes unassailable. And in a world of betrayal, it is not the most admired who endures. It is the most prepared.